Hi, Squishy Exclusive here. Let's give this squishy a makeover. It's already super cute and very squishable. I'm going to create a peanut butter and jelly theme. So it's going to be sitting on this biscuit, also very squishable. I also felt he should be holding on to something, so I found this drink which just happens to be the right size. It's actually going to be an ice cream float. So the first thing to do is to give them a quick sanding. This is to help the fabric paint actually stick and not peel off later. As I was sanding him, I noticed the seam on one side was quite big, so I decided to try and snip it off with a pair of scissors, which did leave some gaps in the memory foam itself. Next, I'm pulling out the plastic bit from the top of the drink because we don't need that in the finished squishy. And now to start gluing all the pieces together. I'm just going to do one bit at a time instead of all at once, because in a previous makeover I did try that and it didn't turn out great. So I'm going to leave this bit to dry and then stick them onto the biscuit in the same way. So it will end up like this. Let's leave all that to dry and see how it turns out. It's turned out really well. Absolutely love it. Now it's time to seal up the edges with more fabric paint, and it just makes it really, really secure for the final squishy. I'm just smoothing it down with my finger and adding some in the gaps there just to really make it nice and smooth. Now it's time to start the white base coat. I'm just going to cover the whole thing in white paint and it will give us a nice blank canvas to start the painting. Now to mix up the colours that I'm going to need, which are of course the grape and peanut butter type colours. Don't forget, if the colours don't turn out right, you can always use them for something else. But luckily these ones turn out pretty good. So onto the painting. I'm just turning it upside down into this mug. For the biscuit itself, I'm just going straight in from the tube of grape fabric paint and just covering the whole thing. It's soft matte fabric paint, and as you can see it has really good coverage. If I was using slick paint, it would take a lot more layers to actually cover it up. And then the top part of the biscuit. I'm just trying to smooth it down as best I can. And then the colour that we mixed earlier is going to be the filling of the biscuit. You can see that I'm being a lot more careful with this one, trying not to mess up the lines. But if I do, it's not a problem because it can be touched up later. There is more to go on this biscuit, but first of all, I'm moving on to the Sloth, and he is the peanut butter. You can really tell it was a good quality squishy in the first place because the paint is going on very smoothly. It's really nice. And there were 3 layers added to the squishy. Just finishing up. Now I'm going to paint the ice cream soda cup. I decided on blue. I think it just looks really nice against the brown and the purple colours. I'm just trying to get it as smooth as possible, and again there were I think 3 layers going on here. Just adding a bit to the bottom as well. Now I'm going to make the biscuit a bit more interesting with a layer of grape sauce all the way around the bottom of the biscuit, and it's going to have some drips as well, I think. Again, straight from the bottle, and it just provides that darker shade of purple. And to create some symmetry, I'm putting a layer of peanut butter on the top. This was the custom colour that I mixed, so it's a bit more awkward. I've got to put it on with the dotting tool. And you can see I'm making a bit of a mess there. So you just get a damp kitchen towel and just wipe off that bit. Now moving on to the ice cream soda, and it's going to be mint choc chip flavour. I started with the dotting tool, then moved on to this brush. I'm just adding a thick layer and seeing how it looks. I have a friend with me here today. There he is. He's not impressed at all. Moving on, more sauce on top of the biscuit. And it covers up all the joins from the sloth to the biscuit and any messy bits that were there. Again, straight from the bottle and adding drips all the way around. As I'm doing this, I'm looking at the ice cream soda floats and thinking it needed something. So I decided to go in and add a bunch of grapes. So everyone will know he's drinking a grape soda float. I will add more detail later once it's dry. Now for the top of the soda float, I think it needs a cherry. But instead of just going straight in with red fabric paint, I have put a little dot of clear jelly fabric paint. Now moving on to the face. I'm sketching out the shape of the face and the eyes, just so that when I start painting it, it will be in the right place. I'm starting with this yellow colour because I've noticed that sloths do seem to have this yellow face. So just using the dotting tool to fill in the face and finishing with a brush. Moving on to the eyes, I'm colouring those in a slightly darker brown than the rest of the body. And then onto the nose. Unfortunately, I was really concentrating and it's almost out of shot, so you can just about see it there. Again, a slightly darker brown, so it stands out. I'm keeping the eyes really simple, really cute. It's just about trying to get them the same size and in the same position. And then his little mouth, and there's going to be a little tongue sticking out, drinking his soda float. Not forgetting all the chocolate chips in the mint choc chip ice cream. And of course the eye shine, a really, really tiny dot of white. I was going to use this pink for the tongue and then I realised it was all dried out, so I had to mix a new one. And now on to the final touch, a nice big blob of grape jelly on his head. Just going straight in from the bottle and seeing what happens. Okay, that wasn't actually the final touch because we do still need the cherry on top. You can see the little blob from the clear jelly paint, which I will now cover with the red fabric paint to make a perfect little cherry on top. So let's see how it began. This cute little sloth. Very squishable, very ready for a makeover. And here is the finished squishy. Absolutely adorable. Peanut butter and jelly. Very squishable. I love the ice cream float. You can see I've added the little stalk on the grapes as well. And a tiny little tongue. Blinking you'll miss it, but it is definitely there. There's also some white highlights on the grape sauce and a little bit of brown on his tiny little toes. Absolutely love him. Hope you've enjoyed this squishy makeover and I'll see you next time. It's bye from me, Squishy Exclusive. Bye!